Hi, welcome back. I actually asked on Instagram today, this is a very impromptu video. I actually had another video planned for today, but I think I'm going to bump it back to next week. But I asked what you all would like to see content-wise. A lot of you all are working from home right now, and I got a lot of tip style video requests or surprisingly enough, routine videos. Those I'm just going to tell you guys, every time I do a routine style video on my channel, I just, nobody watches it. It's not a popular thing. So I didn't really want to go down that route. I mean, truly, I've done this in videos in the past where I've said, if you want to see a routine style video, let me know. Hundreds of people say yes, and then it's not my click. It's not my niche. But I still had quite a few at-home style requests. So what I thought I would do is talk about 5 tips or 5 techniques that you can brush up on, that you can practice up on while you're working from home. If you're not working from home, these can be easily incorporated one by one into a daily routine. I'm basically just brushing over some of my favorite tips, some suggestions, some things you can do to switch it up and have fun with your makeup. So that's what we're gonna do today. Hopefully this is just a quick, kind of short, inspirational video. I am pretty much gonna show you how I did this eye look. I know I'll get comments on the eye look. It is a part of the video, so let's go ahead and start. So to start off with, I wanna talk about brows. I feel like brows are always something that you can brush up on. For me personally, brows are just constantly evolving. I never have the same routine for more than 3 months. And so what I really wanted to revisit today, and you can kind of pick your specific technique for this, but I really wanted to revisit the felt tip brow trend, or the felt tip marker technique. And this is basically like I just said, it's a felt tip marker. If we remember, Glossier came out with Brow Flick last year. I was really into this style last summer. I've kind of gotten away from it, and I never really felt like I was 100% on this technique. So I really took a little bit of extra time today to focus on using, this is the MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint, a really good option if you think this is a route that you want to take for your brows. One thing that I love about the felt tip application style is it's really good for those of you who have sparse brows and gaps in your brows that can otherwise look a little bulky if you use something like a pencil or a powder. This is very delicate. It can create hair-like strokes. So this is something I would definitely recommend checking out if you have felt like you've never been on top of your brow game. It will take some practice. So that's why I'm recommending just setting aside a little bit of extra time to brush up on the brow technique, regardless of if you're using something like this or not. I really enjoyed how my brows turned out today. So A+. My second tip is learning your multitasking products. So for me today, instead of just using some of my more popular cream blushes, I actually just took one of my matte NARS lipsticks. This one is in the shade Hot Kiss. I'm wearing it on my lips and my cheeks today, and I just use this as my cream blush. I personally, I neglect this particular technique so much, and it really, if you think about it, doesn't make a lot of sense, because most of the time, especially with a good matte formula lipstick, it's gonna stay on your cheeks as long as it would on your lips, if not longer. So I use my lipstick as my blush today. Looking at it, you would never be able to know that it's a lipstick and not a cream blush. I would recommend sticking with a lipstick that is more on the matte side. I think they just have a little bit more longevity. However, if you just really like that dewy, refreshing, glowing look, you can go for one of your lipsticks that has a glossier finish. It's completely up to you. Just know you can 10 out of 10 use your lipstick as your blush, and it's just a great way just to condense, do something quick, do something monochromatic. We love a good lip and cheek matching moment. So I wanted to take this opportunity for my number 3 tip or technique to kind of brush over cream contour, cream bronzer a little bit more, because I still get comments from people saying like, I'm just not on board, I can't figure it out, I look muddy when I use a cream contour or cream bronzing product. So I think the biggest mistake that a lot of people make when getting into cream contour is when they go to apply it, directly applying it in a stick fashion or like a straight marker fashion, just like you're writing it on your face, you know what I mean? And that can really disturb your base, especially if you've went for something really sheer like I did. I used my Neutrogena Hydro Boost Skin Tint today. That can really erase what you've already put down, and you can end up, yes, definitely looking streaky and muddly. So once again, I would definitely recommend not applying directly to the face first. So you'd want to go for a brush like this. It's a really good example. It's the Light Layer Blush Brush from Real Techniques. It's very similar to a duo fiber brush. It applies very light pressure and also just doesn't pick up a ton of product. So instead of applying directly to the skin, always make sure that you're picking up from the product or applying the product to the back of the hand and picking up that way. And then you have a lot more control. You're not disturbing the base, and you just want to go in and lightly tap in the areas. This allows you to layer the product to your desired intensity and also allows you to directly control where you're placing the product. So that's really the biggest tip, other than finding obviously a good shade that matches your skin tone. But overall, I think once you get the hang of a good cream bronzer, cream contour, you'll never go back. I just think that it is the one product that just makes the face pop and look gorgeous, stunning, three-dimensional. All right, going into the fun part now, I'm going to talk about my eyes. So tip number 4, anytime you have just like some extra time to play around, if you're at home more than usual, play around with more colors or play around with shades that you would not generally go for, because you never know what you are going to create. You never know what you're going to come up with that could be one of your all-time favorite colors or looks. So I'm wearing my perfect example today. I went for one of my all-time favorite Caviar sticks from Mercier is the shade Orchid. And I remember I had this shade for months and months and months, and I always looked at it and I was just like, no, I don't need this. You know, it just looked kind of childish to me. It's very shimmery and it's just this pastel purple shade. It is one of my all-time favorite Caviar sticks. Like, if anyone asks me for a fun Caviar stick recommendation, this is definitely it. So what I did today is I used Orchid, which is, for me now, I don't see it as such a vibrant shade or a shade that I wouldn't reach for. It is more colorful than what I would generally go for, but just to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit more, I took one of the newer shades called Violet. Several of you guys wanted to see this color in action too. So I took the shade Violet and I added it to the outer corners of my lid. And I basically just kind of bumped the look up that way. It's still very wearable though. So I just would highly encourage you to play around with some interesting shades and then figure out how you can make them wearable in your everyday life. I love this eye look. It's fun, but also very wearable. Okay, last but not least, I want to talk about filling in your lips. I want to talk about how to proportionately fill in your lips, how to practice on this, how to fill in for your particular lip shape, just some overall adjustments on how to fill in lips, because it has been a very big trend for the past, I would say, 4 years, ever since Kylie Jenner came out with the whole, lip kit thing. I feel like the more exaggerated lips have been a thing. So for the longest time, I was guilty for very much overfilling my top and bottom lip. And then I would look in pictures and I would think, why do my lips look so disproportionate to my face? And it's because on me, my personal lip shape, I have a pretty full bottom lip. And also a pretty full Cupid's bow. The thinnest part of my lip is actually the sides. That's where the fullness is kind of lacking for me. And I didn't realize that. I never really analyzed that. I kind of just watched videos and saw where you're just supposed to overline, the whole top and bottom lip. And it was just a little much. It was a little much on me. So it took me a long time to realize there was really no need for me to overline the bottom at all, because that was my fullest part. And then my Cupid's bow, again, pretty full. Sometimes I will slightly go over the Cupid's bow, but not by much. The only thing that I wouldn't even say drastically overline, just slightly outline, are the sides of my lips. And they are pretty straight, the sides of my lips are. So what I'll do is I'll add a little bit of a curve to them. And I think that makes my lips look perfectly fine, perfectly proportionate. So just take a look at your lips, analyze, and pick out the one spot that you feel is probably the thinnest, and then start there. Start there with the slightly outlining or overlining, and then leave the rest of your lips as is, and see if you notice a difference that way. Now, if you feel like you have really thin lips, top and bottom, just overall, I think it's perfectly fine to overfill top and bottom lip. I'm not against it in the slightest. We all have different lip shapes, but that was something that really helped me understand how to make my lips just look more proportionate and not overdone. Just picking out, I don't even want to say that a weak spot, but you know, the spot that you feel could be a little bit more plump or could be a little bit more shapely. All right, I am losing light quickly. I am so over this rain. It has been just raining for 2 months straight, and it's been making filming quite difficult. So the lighting is not how I would love it to be, but luckily we got through it. This was my final kind of roundup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit different from, you know, a traditional tutorial, but I hope you maybe found some tips useful that you can start incorporating into your routine, especially if you are working from home until further notice. And if you're not, these are just really good things to think about, reincorporate maybe one by one each day, and just kind of like little refreshers, little reminders. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below. Also, let me know what you all would like to see video-wise, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.